7-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake, and Plummer will put it up, throws over the middle. Poole, touchdown. Quick flag.
3rd down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again.
Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
This team this year. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon comes in. Welcome to 2025.
Today. This one the other way. Still going back. That's the track. Walks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it.
Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.
Takes his shot for Darby. Flag out.
Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, this is Wednesday's edition. Mike, what day is it? Hump day. Woo! Yep, that's for Mama, and especially for my Mama today because it is her birthday. So happy birthday, Mama! Yeah, we won't say how many it is. It's like golf. After a while, just stop keeping track of your score, right? You stop keeping track of your score in golf. So, but anyway, that's for her. That still is one of her most favorite commercials. Mike, what day is it? Yeah, I know because it has my name in it, and it's absolutely hilarious. So, um, um, yes, it is. Like I said, one of her favorite commercials. But today is her birthday, so it is allowed to be her favorite, one of her favorite commercials. But yes, I always do that for her on Wednesdays. But welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Carrots-Nudo at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. Check out the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. You can also check it out wonderfully live on my good old IG at michael.carrotsnudo.5. Yes, it is there. So, yeah, don't be bashful. As again, you want to definitely check it out. But also, guys, guess what? Go to YouTube. You can watch it live on YouTube, which is always a great thing. But as you're watching it live on YouTube, hey man, do me a quick favor. Just subscribe to my YouTube channel. All you have to do is go to YouTube. You guys know how to get there. You see my name, Michael Carrots-Nudo, but my page is at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat, 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, guys, and subscribe because you have missed, and I know this will shock you guys that are watching, but those of you that are new, you have missed a plethora of phenomenal Sun Devil content and material, but also con reviews. There are many many con reviews that you miss with, again, whether it's coaches, players, voices, insiders, alum. Yeah, you get the picture, and a phenomenal athletic director who, again, looks like we are having on next week. But aiming to set schedules up and have them on next week. So yes, you can check out all that, but it's already there. You just have to do a little bit of catching up. And when I say a little bit of catching up, I mean season 1, season 2, and yes, now we're into season 3. But if you binge watch season 1 and 2 and keep watching season 3, when you finish those, you'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, we talked about that. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, yeah. So I again, subscribe to the YouTube channel and you will get caught up on all of that. And like I said, you can binge watch, catch up, and everything is beautiful in Sun Devil country, as it should be. Big 12 play opening up this week for 2 sports, women's soccer hosting BYU tomorrow. And then men football team is headed to Texas to take on Baylor this time, as they open up Big 12 play on the road 2 years in a row. That's kind of, and we still got a ton of football to be played this year. But next year, I just hope their Big 12 openers at home. Conference play should be at home next year for the Devils. I mean, come on. But nonetheless, they are headed to Baylor, headed to Waco to take on Dave Aranda and the Baylor Bears. And they were a very hot team at the end of last year. You guys know that. So football starting Big 12 play. Soccer, like I said, volleyball hosting the Sun Devil Classic as Pepperdine, Milwaukee, and the Grand Canyon from just across town will join the Devils in playing in this. And the Devils play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll get into the times and everything is all at Desert Financial Arena, as you know. but I will get into times and the games, who they're playing on which day in a little bit. But yeah, so again, you subscribe to YouTube, you do all that, we're good to go. So anyway, but yes, like I said, soccer opening up their Big 12 play against BYU. Last year they opened up against BYU, but it was in Provo. This year, guess what? It is here. Yeah, this year it is here in Tempe, Sun Devil Soccer Stadium. So you can definitely go, definitely should go. I'm not saying you definitely should go and check that out. Yes, you definitely need to go check that out. Because you haven't seen a team that hasn't lost in conference play, 7-0-1, and has only given up one open play goal of the 4 that they've given up, and they've scored 20. Home and away. And yes, they're in the midst of a 7-game homestand. It's just how it worked out. But yes, they're in the midst of a 7-game homestand, which, as you guys know, again, is very awesome because the first few Big 12 games are here too. But yeah, just so stoked for Coach Winkworth and this team, and maybe see how it goes. Maybe put it out there in the universe. Put it out there, but maybe we'll see if we can get Coach on Friday after they have a tough game, but a victory against BYU. That would be muy phenomenal, my friends. So yes. Yes, there is that. So they will kick it off Thursday. And then Friday, like I said, the Sun Devil Classic, the Devils will play Pepperdine at Desert Financial Arena. And then they play Grand Canyon Saturday evening, and then Milwaukee Sunday afternoon. So, again, a full weekend you can spend with Sun Devil Volleyball, the reigning Big 12 champs in Sun Devil Volleyball. I mean, why not? If you're headed to Texas, if you're headed to Baylor for the game, absolutely awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you're headed there for the game, absolutely awesome. And I wish I could be, but something has come up. So, but I will be in Utah. I promise you that. I will be in Utah, in Salt Lake City. So, yes. That, my friends, I can definitely promise you. So, but nonetheless, yeah, the Devils again going to Baylor to open up Big 12 play, and again, it'll be a tough game. Like I said, we're going to hear from Keith Abney today. We're also going to hear from Coach Aguano, running backs coach, obviously Raleigh Brown, huge game. Talk to him post game. On Saturday. So yes, it is very, again, absolutely awesome to say the least, but, yeah, so Raleigh Brown, but we'll hear from Coach Aguano because it looks like, and Coach Shillingham said he was leaning that way, but it looks like SIP, Kyson Brown, will be back in the lineup after, again, missing most of the Mississippi State game, returned home, got a little banged up, and then did not play last week against Texas State. Was trending that way, but they held him out. And, well, I say it's trending that way. Obviously, he was not ready to go. I shouldn't say they held him out. Don't again, context, apologies. Um, um, but again, he wasn't able to go, not that they were home. But again, he was, working out off to the side. But nonetheless, he's getting right, and it looks like he will be a go. So now you have Brown, Kyson, and Raleek, and then obviously Kanye Udo, transfer Army. And you'll hear from, and I asked Coach Aguano about this, obviously the running backs coach for the Devils, as you know, done a phenomenal job in the running back room. But yeah, we'll hear from him. Just obviously about Kanye, Raleek as well. But then even without Kyson playing, the freshman, Demarius Robinson, man got on the field, and he'll talk about that. But yeah, so we'll hear from Keith Abney again, phenomenal corner, caused that fumble that his secondary mate. He'll talk about that. Miles Rouser recovered. So yeah, very again, so stoked again getting to catch up with them and bringing it to you here on Pitchfork Lunch, guys. Why not? Going around Sun Devil Nation. So that being said, yeah, what else do we have? I did mean to tell you. So obviously men's and women's golf have their fall schedule, in which last year I know I was the first year I totally spaced. Last year more on top of. This year hitting it a little earlier. The men have played twice so far, and they went to the Shelly Players Invitational, and they finished first. Weird for Coach Thurman. It's very weird that happened. They shot a 295, a 290, or a 277, and then a 295. So they were 3 over for the tournament. And then they headed to the Woolhill Classic. Let's look at the Shaley Players Championship. Again, ASU 3 over. They won by 1 shot over Texas. Mind you not. They did win, like I said, yes, by 1 shot. Texas was 4 over. So check this out. The Devils, like I said, 295 in round 1, 295 in round 2. So they were 7 over and tied for third after the first round. It looks like, yeah, tied for third after the first round. They were 7 over. They were the best team by 4 strokes and by 11 strokes over Texas. So Texas was shot even par, and they were in first place after day 1. The Devils were 7 shots back. Well, the Longhorns shot even par again. When I was watching these highlights during that, and I totally forgot to bring it up, and I was just so stoked it got caught in them, but they shot 11 over on the Devils shot 11 under. So they went from 7 over to 4 under. And Texas was even again. So they were 4 shots up on Texas. And again, that was the closest competition. So they were 4 shots up on Texas, right? Well, you want to talk about it going down to the wire. ASU again shot 7 over in round 3, like I told you, but Texas shot 4 over. So they were 4 over. So, but since the Devils were 4 under, and then they were 7 over, they finished at 3 over par, beating Texas by 1 shot. And when we look at the player leaderboard, Michael Madseth, no surprise, ASU's highest finisher. He finished tied for fourth at 1 under par. He shot 3 under and then even and then 2 over in the final round. But yeah, he was 1 under for the tournament. The winner of the tournament was Brady Siraval from Pepperdine. He shot 3 under, and then Daniel Bennett from Texas was 2 under, and he finished second. And well, he tied for second with Harry Takis of San Diego State, and then Tyler Watts finished tied for fourth with Michael Madseth at 1 under par. So, yeah, heck of a day there. And then Pongsapak Laupakdi, pardon me. Sorry. He finished at even par. So he was +2, -2, and then even. So pretty solid there. He finished tied for sixth with Christian Moss and Matthew Chiravuri of Pepperdine. And then Philip, no, that's not, never mind. And then Connor Williams for ASU finished 3 over. He was +5, -3, and then +1. So, again, the Devils' tournament goes on doing well. And then Bowen Moss, newcomer, he was 4 over for the tournament, tied for 17th. And then Boston Bracken was 41st for the Devils. He finished at 11 over. He was 3 over and then 1 over and then finished 7 over. So, yeah, but the Devils, again, so that was the Shaley Players Classic, again, where they finished first. And then they went to the Wohel Classic. In which they finished first again. They shot a 273 and then a 296, which is tough, but then followed that up with a 269. And they finished actually tied for first with New Mexico. Tied for first. They were 14 under par altogether, both ASU and New Mexico. So, yeah, I mean, you look at and then for the player leaderboard, Davis Johnson, it was hosted by Utah, finished first at 9, tied for first with who else? Connor Williams from ASU. Both finished 9 under. They both got there in different ways. Davis Johnson in Utah was 3 under in round 1. Connor Williams led the tournament. He was 6 under, 1 shot ahead of one shot ahead of Wyatt, province of New Mexico, and also Vili Viracala from Kansas State. So they were both 5 under. But, yeah, Connor Williams 6 under. But Davis Johnson, he was 3 under. And then they both shot 1 under in round 2. So they were 4 under through that. And then they both shot 1 under, and that put Davis Johnson at 4 under. And then Connor Williams at 7 under. And then Davis Johnson, though, just crushed it in round 3. He went 5 under. And so Connor Williams at 2, he was 2 under par. There were a few guys at 5 under. Connor Williams finished 2 under. So both at 9 under. And then Mesa Fowler Mesa Fowler of New Mexico finished 8 under or 7 under par, 2 shots back, but he was 3 under, 1 over, and then he also shot a 5 under in round 3. There was and then Gabriel Palacios of Utah shot a 5 under. Simon Kwan of BYU shot 6 under in round 3, as did Wyatt Province of New Mexico. But again, Wyatt Province, I mean, he finished at 5 under. That's because in round 2 he was 6 over, but then he got all 6 of those shots back, went 6 under par. So to finish even in the last 2 rounds and go 5 under for the tournament, but he shot a 6 under par. Michael Matchseth of ASU shot a 6 under par to finish 3 under. He was even and then +3 and then -6. So that's how you get to your -3. So yeah, a lot of 5 and 6 under pars. Like Pongsapak Lau Pakti of ASU, he also shot a 5 under for in the 3rd round of the Walhalla Classic. Walhalla Classic. Which obviously in Utah, hosted by Utah, but it's in Utah. So now they have September 19th, which is this Friday. And the 20th, they have the Fighting Illini Invitational, which will be a country field or Olympia Fields Country Club in Illinois. So they have that. And then September 29th and 30th, they have the Ben Hogan Collegiate. And yeah, the Ben Hogan Collegiate is at the Colonial Country Club, which is in Fort Worth. It's in Texas. Yeah, TCU hosting. So they have that. So they'll be in, like I said, the Ben Hogan Collegiate. First, the Fighting Illini this weekend, and then the end of September, the 29th and 30th, they will be at the Ben Hogan Collegiate. And then they don't have anything again until October 27th through 29th. They have the East Lake Cup. So that is where men's golf is at. Just wanted to give you a heads up. And then women's golf, let's not forget about women's. They played at the Annika Sorensen tournament, but they played at the Annika Intercollegiate in Minnesota. And Coach said it wasn't their best, but they finished 10th, and that was September 7th through 10th. And then this Friday through Sunday, they have the Mason Rudolph Championship, which is in Tennessee. So they'll be Vanderbilt's hosting that. So they'll be headed to Tennessee, I should say, but back over to Tennessee. Yeah, so they have that. And then September 29th and 30th, which is Monday, Tuesday all day, they have the Windy City Collegiate Classic, which is in Westmoreland Country Club in Willamette, Illinois. So that's what they have coming up. And then they have a few weeks off, and they have the Stanford Intercollegiate, which obviously Stanford hosts in Palo Alto, October 17th through 19th. And then they head to Hawaii again, the Nene Invitational, October 27th through 29th. And then, the spring schedule will start February 1st through 3rd is what they're looking at. But, so they have the fall and then a little bit of time to obviously practice, refine the skills that they have. Coach has ran into Coach Missy Farquet actually out at soccer. We're talking. It's a fun team, and we are going to get to know them. So that is what the women are doing and where they're at. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, though, we're going to shift gears to football. Like I said, we'll hear from Quarterback Keith Abney, again, wrapping up last week's game against Mississippi State. Looking forward to Baylor and on conference play, all that good stuff. And, so we'll talk to Keith Abney, and we'll also hear from Sun Devil running backs coach, interim head coach, great friend of the program, great friend in general, Sean Aguano will be with us. So stay right where you're at, and Pitchfork Lunch will be right back. righty, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. You guys know you can watch the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also on my IG, michael.caratinudo.5. Yes, you know it's all there. And YouTube. Guys, go to YouTube, watch live, but do subscribe. Again, catch up on the shows. We're going to have many of guests on, and they are, I know I say this every day, but started with guests. We set things up as we go, and it absolutely rocks. Absolutely rocks. So go to YouTube, and yes, you can watch live, but definitely subscribe. Michael Caratino, you see my name, but it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ, 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, guys, and subscribe away. So let's get right to it. We're going to hear from Keith Abney II. Again, he had a hell of a season last season. Again, integral part of the secondary at corner. Is just a phenomenal job. A kid from Texas going back home in Texas to play. Has got a lot of requests for tickets. So just like Sip had when he was headed back to Mississippi, playing Mississippi State. So yes, that is that. But yeah, so let's just get right to it. We will hear from Keith Abney again, talking about wrapping up last week against Texas State, but going forward, Mississippi State, secondary, all this stuff. And man, just overall, just state of the defense. Talk to him about it. So without further ado, here is Sun Devil cornerback Keith Abney. All right, Keith, so I asked Coach Dillingham and Coach Ward, and obviously their time here, not that you guys as a defense ever played slow, but do you feel this last weekend against Texas State that it was kind of, you guys played at like the fastest, most disciplined pace that you guys have under Coach Ward?
I can say, yeah, definitely I feel like this is one of the games where guys just really just bought into the game plan. Everybody just bought into their assignment. Everybody did their 111. So I feel like doing that just made everything just, easier for us.
And then you come up, your wonderful secondary teammate gets the fumble recovery, but you caused the fumble.
Yes,
Miles gets the fumble recovery. And I know, like Coach always says, you guys say, like, do your 111th, but I mean, constantly running through the ball and when you're getting there, stripping the ball. But just take us through that play. What did you see there? And I guess, was it pretty easy to strip the ball? Because it looked like he was kind of holding it out for you.
I really didn't. I just was tackling him and just punching at the ball. And I just felt the ball come out, so I just held him so he wouldn't be able to get up and get it. It's crazy though. Last week at practice was like the most I ever punched at the ball at practice. Like I was punching at the ball every play, and it's crazy to see that in the game. I caused a fumble, so it was just it's funny. So yeah, it was a good feeling, just practicing and seeing what our practice come out in the game.
And then obviously Miles recovered, but you probably had to give him a little bit of a hard time. And he had a combo. He's got to take that in and score, right?
Yeah. He said he got some running back in him, man. He did break a couple tackles, so he ain't had that much real estate to work with. But yeah, he was making a little tackle. We wish he would have scored, but it was good. We got the ball back for the offense.
And then, so obviously the first 3 weeks of the season, I mean, such a roller coaster game. Obviously the week before at Mississippi State, I mean, they put up the first 17. You guys put up the next 20. So going into last week, what did you take from that game? I mean, yeah, obviously momentum, but just what did you take from that game that was able to benefit you against Texas State?
I feel like as a team, we just wanted to go out there and like the second half, it kind of showed like a little bit of our identity of this team. So we wanted to just last week we just wanted to put a complete game out there. That was like the main thing we were preaching, like a complete 4 quarters of 60 minutes of football. So that was like the main things. We just go out there and play hard, play physical. Coach is always preaching on how hard we play. So we wanted to go out there and do that for him.
And then when you look at obviously the second year in a row, you start conference play in the state of Texas. This time at Baylor. I mean, I know it's early, but looking at Baylor offensively, what kind of challenges do they present to you guys?
I think they're like one of the top passing offenses in the country, so it's going to be a great challenge. They got some receivers that they trust, some big-time playmakers, so it's going to be our job to try to eliminate them.
And then, I mean, a few of the sacks, I know on one of Clayton's this last week, you guys were, in coverage because the quarterback, he was holding the ball. He's trying to find somewhere. But just, the growth of the defense, but in your eyes, like the secondary in coverage seems throwing different stuff at you, obviously, each week. But how do you guys just feel you've grown as a group? And to add to that, obviously, Boogie starting for X. He came in and it seemed pretty seamless. So just your thoughts of the growth and how Boogie played.
question first. The coverage, I feel like we're doing great. Communicating, everybody passing out routes. Good. Everybody, doing their 111 and exchanging routes, covering routes, and that plays a part. It helps the defensive line get sacks, and when they rush, it helps us get make plays as well. So and then Boogie, Boogie played amazing. He did a great job. I feel like it just goes to his preparation every week that he puts in, the work that he puts in every week. Coming in and just learning from Eggs, learning from Ghost. Not at first wasn't starting, but just always staying ready because he's a great player and we knew we were going to need him this season, and it just happened to be the time.
And then I know you're doing obviously your stuff defense and you're on the bench making adjustments, but did you see Sam's jump pass going against the grain and Jordan's catching the hurdle? I mean, look, obviously there probably aren't enough great, phenomenal adjectives to describe that, but just when you saw that play happen in real time, what's going through your head?
That was just crazy. I was like, bro, they out there playing on rookie mode. That was crazy, man. That was amazing. That was a crazy touchdown. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, that's just what they do. Like that's what 0 and 10 does, man. They just make plays, electric plays like that.
What was more spectacular, the throw or the catch?
I'll say the throw and the hurdle. I feel like the catch, that's just JT, but the hurdle and the throw is like, I don't know, man. It was like 50-50. Yeah.
Did you guys watch it as a team in the film room? I'm wondering what the team reaction
No, we didn't watch it in the film room as a team because the Instagram, they our media team posted it, so everybody done seen it. It's on Sports Center.
Yeah.
We didn't all seen it, man. It's going viral, man. That was a great play.
Yeah, sure was. What was your take on the overall defensive play? I thought you guys played really well as a unit against Texas State.
Yeah, so like I was just saying earlier, I feel like we just played as a unit. Like everybody did their 111. Everybody was just focusing on their job and, not trying to big play hunt. Everybody just doing their job and letting the plays come to you. And I feel like we just trusted Coach Ward and the plays that he was calling and knowing that he gonna put us in situations to make big plays, so we don't got to chase those plays. It's gonna come to us.
It just seems as though when you do your 111, the big plays will kind of happen. You had 5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, couple of fumbles.
Just everybody, Coach said, just trust. This is like one of the games. Everybody just trusted the game plan, and I feel like it was great to see.
How special is it for you going back close to home this weekend to open Big 12 play?
It's going to be a great feeling, having the family, friends come out. I've never played at the stadium. I didn't been to a couple games there, but I never played there, so it's going to be good, just, playing at these Texas stadiums and just, with family watching.
Do you sense a little added intensity among the players now that Big 12 play is about ready to begin?
Yeah, because now it's just like, it's a reset. We 0-0, like what we did in the first 3 games really doesn't affect Big 12 play. So we got to come out here, and just, execute every week, win it day by day.
I'm wondering if there's a different sense because it's not only the start of Big 12 play, but for your team, the start of defending the conference championship.
Yeah, I can say that. I feel like other teams would look at it that way, but we're just trying to look at it as just, us going out there and being the best version of ourselves and, doing our job.
Mm-hmm. And then what do you feel, obviously going into Big 12 play, how, I guess, with your non-conference, how prepared do you feel for it? And when you look at the Big 12 schedule, how challenging does it seem to you? Especially because you're going to see a lot of teams that you didn't play last year.
Yeah, I would say it's very challenging, man. This is one of the conferences where it just comes down to the margins, turnovers, little things like that. So it's going to be, like last year we had a lot of close games. So I'm assuming, expecting that the same this year, but, hopefully not. But if it does happen, I feel like we're going to be prepared. That's going to, coach is preparing us for that.
Does that give you? It must give you guys confidence, the fact that you were so good in close games.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, just having those moments and the experience that the guys have on this team is going. I feel like it definitely will play a factor.
Why do you think this team was so good in close games and can be again this year?
I'd say the details, like the situations that we practice every day, like in fall camp and stuff like that. I feel like we've seen a lot of those situations in the game, and I can't speak for other teams. I don't know if other teams go over those situations, but I know that coach does a good job of trying to, get us prepared for any situation that could happen in the game so we can all know what's going on and be aware.
I asked Coach Dillingham and Coach Ward, and
yesterday, and he talked about how during his recovery process last year from his injury, you were someone that he leaned on a lot. What was that process for him like from your perspective?
Anytime you have an injury, it feels, and you're on the sideline, it feels like you're not part of that team, right? And so mentally, I had to make sure that he was in every practice, getting his mental reps, giving him positive feedback the whole time, and knowing that everybody gets hurt, how do we respond and get back? And he did very, very well doing that.
And how would you say you've seen him grow in terms of that mental preparation, also just keeping his body right? Because he talked about how that was a big help.
Absolutely. Yeah, making sure he goes and gets treatments. Now he's the older back, right? I got to come in early. I got to roll out. I got to do all those things. And then from a mental standpoint, he prepares a lot more this year. Of course, when you're hurt, it's hard to prepare for something now. But he's put a lot of time in the off season, learning the playbook, knowing all the nuances, and so I think he's done an incredible job getting prepared for this season.
And he talked about how the breakout that he's had to start this season with 100 rushing yards in back-to-back games is no surprise to him. You always saw that in him, right?
Absolutely, and he's dynamic. He's a dynamic guy, and we've got dynamic running backs in that room, and so whoever has that hot hand, and he has that hot hand right now, and so he's just getting better and better. And now we got to get his condition up so he can go play after play after play, and then we'll see how that goes. But he's picked up the offense very, very well.
And amongst all ball carriers in all of college football on Saturday, he was the second fastest in all of college football, hitting nearly 22 miles an hour. How much does his explosiveness change how you guys are able to game plan?
Anytime somebody can hit the home run and get explosive, it always helps out the offense. And that's God given. It's not developed for me. Just run, right? And he has done a good job understanding how to make people miss in space and then get going, and he's just getting better and better, like I said, every day.
And getting him to come over from USC, what was your guys' pitch to him? Because he talked about how you and Kenny made it a point that, hey, we want you and we want you to be featured in this offense.
I think that he was playing more of the slot back type, and he wanted to play that running back deal, and so we had a vision of how our backs, especially the past couple of years, they've caught for 500-600 yards out of the backfield, and so our guy had to be a multiple guy, and he fit that fit that we want.
Speaking of multiple, obviously Kanye getting more involved in the offense, and I know we've talked, and each week, he's gotten more comfortable, obviously since spring ball, but he's more comfortable with the offense. But just his performance last week, catching the ball in the backfield, what did you see from him?
Yeah, and that takes time, because everything for him was downhill. It takes time, and when we played Mississippi State, that fell right into his lap, right? And then that's the kind of ball game that he wants to play. But every day he's got to get better. Now it's pass pro. Now it's screens. Now it's understanding defenses and where do we hit and things like that. But he's coming along every day, and that room's getting better and better the whole time.
And I talked to Coach Tui Telly. He said obviously the relationship they have, understanding what it was like at Army, but he says even I was asking Coach, even from like his blocking and a standpoint of that, and he's like, I don't really say anything to him until he asked me. But how do you feel that their relationship has helped Kanye grow as well?
They understand that, where that come from, and that was that's tough work. And those cadets, they're disciplined. They're just tough individuals. And so anytime he comes into a place that is not that structured as the forces, I think that connection helps him because they can talk through it a little bit. But he has grown a lot within the last 6 months, and he's just going to get better and better.
And then speaking of better and better, a true freshman, man gets on the field. Obviously, he's been putting in the work. We know you told me earlier. The speed's there with this kid, like you said. Yeah. That's God-given run. But at the same time, just how do you feel he's come along? What did you see from him when he was on the field?
The lights are on now, and the eyes get bigger. But I have full confidence that he can do anything that was prepared for him to do. He's just going to have to understand that the game is faster now, when the lights are on. But I have all the trust, and he's going to get better and better. And he's just a little young pup that's learning, but he'll develop into a good one.
And I got to ask you this one too. I know obviously you're on the sidelines, you're doing your job, but when Sam goes against the grain, throws a jump pass, and you see Jordan make the catch, and then the hurdle, what was the most, surprising part to you of that touchdown, or did that were you not surprised at all?
Not surprised at all, because they do that every day in practice. It's just like, oh crap, did he just throw that? But they do that every day in practice, and two extremely athletic individuals, right? And so they get away with a lot of that stuff. But they're a good pair.
And then going into obviously Big 12 play, starting out in Texas again, last year with Tech, obviously this year with Baylor. How do you feel the team is, through obviously short little non-conference, but non-conference is ready for Big 12 play now?
And now it all counts. And I think from a mental standpoint, it was good for us to get a little bit back on the horse. I don't think we're playing like how we should be playing at this point. And Coach Dillahan understands that, and we're learning too. But I think that we're ready to play and get into conference and see how this all plays out.
So there you go, Coach Iguano. First Keith Abney, the second, and then Coach Iguano right there. But yeah, I mean, he's talking about it like that's one of the things. And yes, as coaches, there's always things you can improve on. It's a new season, like I said to him, like I said to Keith, and I've said to you guys, you Pitchfork Lunchers a million times. You know, they're only playing 4 teams conference-wise. They had only 4 teams that they played last year. They're playing this year, and that's because they played Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game. They did not play Iowa State last year, obviously, as you guys know. So they have Utah, Texas Tech, Iowa State, and that team down south, of course, the rivalry game, which they will play. But yeah, only having 4 teams on the schedule from last year, guys, it makes a big difference. Big difference. So, and yeah, I mean, you're going to prep and you see, and you have to look at other stuff. So, and when I asked Coach Dillingham this, I asked him that question. I want to say it was before spring ball or after spring ball, just, you're kind of thought of now you're prepping for a team, you're prepping the schedule, and, there's conference-wise, there's only 4 schools that you played last year that you're playing again. So yeah, I mean, look, their coaches are prepared to get ready, but he said, yeah, you're packed, like, okay, you knew who you were playing in this, and, outside of a new coach coming in, whatever, but you got kind of tendencies and, what you could tweak, what they could tweak. So it'll be real interesting as like I said, conference play kicks off. I'm very, very excited going to Waco. Leon Freeman, friend of mine, haven't talked to in a minute, but he actually went for Mesa Community College and played at Baylor. So very that in and of itself is awesome. But yes, he was at MCC, went and played at Baylor, and finished his college career out there. But so headed to Waco to take on Baylor. It should be very interesting. At least there won't be tortillas flying like at Texas Tech, which again is very fun, great environment, festive. You guys saw it, brought it to you last year, absolutely awesome. So that being said, I mean, look, it'll be an interesting matchup. I'm gonna hit it hard tomorrow. Like Friday will be a big preview day. Obviously, we'll recap soccer from tomorrow night. We'll talk soccer. We'll preview soccer tomorrow. Talk a little more football as we will hear from Coach Mons tomorrow, and the tight ends coach. Obviously, that room, physical, crazy, just crazy physical, absolutely awesome. And led by Shimon Mateer, who just got in the end zone last week for his first trip to the end zone. But the game he had against Mississippi State, I put it out on Twitter, like he should have gotten a game ball. Even in a very tough loss, like just they ran the ball, the run blocking. But we'll hear from Coach Mons. But either way, like I said, we'll hear from Coach Mons either tomorrow or Friday. We'll see what we get. But yeah, it's like I said, it's Big 12 time. It's exciting. Baylor again, and when we look at and I mentioned Demarius Robinson. The freshman got in there. He had 5 carries for 13 yards. His longest run was 5, but it's Raleigh Brown, like I said, 12 for 144. Sam Levitt had 12 for 75. Kanye Udo has 7 carries for 16 yards. Again, got some tough yards. Obviously, Mississippi State, the downhill game you heard Coach Iguano talk about there. That's why I asked him. Like that was, obviously his, type of game. And not that Raleigh can't play that game like he's saying, but it's just again, it's something he's very, very used to, and with his skill set, developed that at the academy at Army, and so it's that in and of itself is awesome. But yeah, I mean, Raleigh Clown 12 for 144, Sam Levitt 12 for 75. And like I said, Levitt only passed for 180 yards. He was 15 to 25, but 2 of those completions were touchdowns. 1 to Jordan Tyson, obviously 1 to Shimon Mateer. But then Levitt also rushed for a touchdown, and so did Raleigh Brown. So yeah, it was just 34 to 15 was the final, and a lot different than. And again, Texas State has a good team. I mean, that Brad Jackson, I was actually chatting with Brian Ward about that. And actually, we'll get into that more so tomorrow too, because, man, it flies, man. I love it. Love bringing you the lunch hour of Pitchfork Lunch, all the goodness, all the good stuff. But yes, so I'll say what. Don't worry, we'll get to what Coach Ward said. I got it in my notes. You guys know this. You didn't go to that school down south. You're smart. And if you did go to that school down south, it's okay. I understand. You'll be catching up. But, we're here for you too. We are here for you too. So, so that'll do it. But I'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Again, at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter. Anything that you might think of this and that, hit me up, man. Send me a message. You're wondering why, if I haven't covered something, you see it. Again, not that I'm not looking, but hey, every now and then I can even miss something. So we shall go from there. But yeah, hit me up at Diablo00 on X. I was formerly known as Twitter, my IG, Michael.Cartoon.5. Again, go to YouTube, watch the show live, but guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel because, again, you'll get caught up. You've missed a ton of con reviews, again, coaches, players, and we've had a lot of them on multiple times. So again, the story just keeps going. I say coaches, players, voices, insiders, alumni, and we're going to have more. So that in and of itself, absolutely awesome. So yes, have a most phenomenal day. I will see you tomorrow. Like I said, same bat time, same bat channel. And yes, like reigning Big 12 champs, women's volleyball, who hosts the Sun Devil Classic this weekend. Again, another subliminal message for you there. Reminded me last season, it is #OurState. And that's, for that school down south, so they realize, they can try and say a lot, but it is #OurState. So yes, as always, go Devils, and you know it. Forks out.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. Funnel will put it up. Throws over the middle. Pull. Touchdown. Quick flag.
3rd down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again.
Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
Revenge on this defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon comes in. Welcome to 2025.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.
Takes his shot for Derby. Flag out. Doesn't matter.